Good morning. Thank you. That was awesome. So, welcome to the healing meditation this morning. My name is Richard Austin, and I'll be your practitioner for this week. And I'm excited to be here in this hard seat up front. No, I'm good. I was just going to say, some of you have seen me more recently, but I've lost a little weight, which I'm excited about. Yes. Unfortunately, the first place it goes is what I'm sitting on. And if I could sit on my stomach, I would be very comfortable. In any case. No, I'm good. I won't be here long. Mind over matter. One thing I did want to just share is about the Science of Mind magazine. And if you have gotten this as a one-time event, just know that you can purchase a full year of it, and it's got wonderful things in there. One of the person who writes every month is Jesse Jennings, and he is a minister from Houston. And so he runs a church there and has for 20, 25, 30 years, I don't know. But he says that in the October month, now that we're almost through, that all of the closing affirmations are by Holmes from his book, This Thing Called You. And so that's a part of it, as well as much of the first half of each story that's here for each daily affirmation is written from Ernest, and he is the one, I think, that pulled those out and then embellished each day for the month. So I went ahead and picked one called The Positive Opposites. The Positive Opposites. What we believe to be true either is true or becomes true within, limits to be found experientially or experimentally. These limits are beliefs to be transformed. By John Lilly. And so as you feel comfortable as I read this and as we go into this meditation this morning, just know that the divine spirit is here within us and amongst us. It's everywhere present where we can imagine. It's just that simple. And as you take a deep breath, just realize that we are here within the presence. We are the presence. We are a part of the presence. We may individually not be the whole presence, but we certainly are a part of the entire universe right here in this moment. And I take another deep breath, just relaxing even further into this chair and letting my mind go to that infinite spirit within, diving deeper into this wonderful thing called myself as a spiritual guidance. I move forward knowing that I am tapped in this moment, in this time, in this place, and in this second. That I tap into this spiritual divineness each and every moment of every day, whether I'm conscious of it or not. And so I choose now to be conscious of it in this moment, to know that this awareness and tapping into this divine spirit is soothing. It's comforting. It's perfect divine presence right here in this moment, right now, shining a light from deep within me to all those that I come into contact with, and sharing a bright light of myself with others. This divine spirit also shines within to allow myself the opportunity for any healing, any new consciousness, new ideas, new creativity to come forth, bounding from the center of my being with joyous gratitude. With a sense of ease and calm. And by focusing in a moment of silence coming, I can easily breathe rhythmically, knowing that my body is cared for, my mind is alert, and I allow myself to hear the divine expression come from within me with an idea, a thought, a new beginning, seeing a flower develop and unfold. I too can unfold in this second, in this moment, in this time. And I go into this silent place with joy and harmony in my heart right now for a few moments to connect with my spirit. In this moment of silence, I feel a feeling of rejuvenation, a feeling of calmness throughout my entire body, throughout my entire spirit and soul. I feel a calmness within me that I can go to at any moment of any day, at any time, simply by putting 2 or 3 fingers together with your thumb and taking a deep breath. I can use this technique to just calm myself if I need it or if I just want it. And as I go forward this morning for myself, I recognize this divine spirit guides me and helps me at all levels of my humanness and at all levels of my spiritualness. And as I go forward, I now know and accept that I am one with the divine spirit, one with the divine guidance, one with the joy and the love of the universe, ebbing in the ebbs and flows of this wonderful life. I allow myself at any given time throughout my day the joyousness of the silence. And I choose, as an athlete might choose, to exercise each day on a plan or a non-plan. Or just someone who loves to exercise, I do it on a regular basis. And I find for my spiritual self, I too practice the guidance of meditation and being in a quiet space to hear that message from my center, from my spirit, united with the divine universe. And I take another moment now in silence to explore, to hear, or to just be quiet for another moment of rejuvenation. The vibration of the bell lets us know in this moment that we can come back into this space feeling energized, rejuvenated, joyful, loving, creative, whatever I think I can become. And I choose wisely for my greater good. For it is already accomplished. It is already a part of my life now. I just attract it and let it grow through guidance and meditation, through connecting with my spiritual self that's connected to the broad and ever-expanding universal mind and universe. I am grateful not only for this time, but for me personally, this time with you, for an opportunity to explore our connection with our divine spirit, both individually, collectively in our community, and throughout the world. I let out a deep breath, knowing that as I let go, I give gratitude and thanks for our time together and for all our activities with Spirit. We can release this experience this morning into the law of mind, into the universal power for our greater good, simply by saying together, and so it is. Namaste.
Cool, thank you. Woke up this morning with the sun down shining in. I found my mind in a brown paper bag within. I tripped on a cloud, I fell 8 miles high. I tore my mind on a jagged sky. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Well, I pushed my soul in a deep dark hole, and then I followed it in. I watched myself crawling out as I was crawling in. I woke up so tight that I couldn't unwind. I saw so much that it broke my mind. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Well, someone painted April Fools in big black letters on a dead-end sign. I had my foot on the gas as I left the road, and I blew out my mind. 8 miles out of Memphis and I got no spare. 8 miles straight up downtown somewhere. I had just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. I had just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Woke up this morning with the sun down shining in. I found my mind in a brown paper bag within. I tripped on a cloud, I fell 8 miles high. I tore my mind on a jagged sky. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. morning. Hello. All right, let's have some fun. Well, I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. And I'm just mad about Frontine. Frontine's mad about me. Well, I'm just mad about Frontine. She's just mad about me. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. Well, we're gonna have forever to fly. Wind velocity nil. We're gonna have forever to fly. And if you have your cup, I will fill. They call me mellow yellow. 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 Well, I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me. I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. They call me mellow yellow. Hello, good morning, you guys. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name's Chelsea Sadler. It's great to be here. Amazing meditation. Thank you, Richard. Oh, by Joe, me got to go, me on my own. Me got to go pull the P-road down the bayou. My Yvonne, the sweetest one, me on my own. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. For tonight, I'm gonna see my Shazamio. Big guitar, fill fruit jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Then Fido find out the place is buzzing. Kinfolk on to see them by the dozen. Dress in style, go hog wild, me oh my. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see my Shazamio. Pick guitar, fill fruit jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Oh, by Joe, me got to go, me oh my. Me got to go pull the P-road down the bayou. My Yvonne, the sweetest one, me oh my. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see my Shazamio. Pick guitar, fill fruit jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Then by door, find out the place is buzzing. Kinfolk come to see even by the dozen. Dress in style, go hog wild, me oh my. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see my Shazamio. Pick guitar, fill fruit jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Oh, by Joe, me got to go, me oh my. Me got to go, oh, the P-road down the bayou. My Yvonne, the sweetest one, me oh my. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see my Shazamio. Pick guitar, fill fruit jar, and big ale. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou. Thank you guys very much. Good morning.
Okay. Yes. Hi, Jennifer. Nice to meet you. Glad you're here. Sure. Come on. Hey! I'm ready for you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Ken Wilcox. You're most welcome to be here today. If you're joining us online, I'm glad to have you here as well. But let me tell you, you're not going to match the energy of this great place. So know you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. You know, each Sunday morning, I always ask you to do one simple thing, and that is to leave all your troubles, your fears, your would-haves, your could-haves, your should-haves, to leave all that stuff outside, and for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more happiness, more great music, more wonderful talent shows. Hey! Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you? I threw that little curveball in there, yeah. Everything in life that makes us feel alive, because that's what God is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through love, joy, and laughter. So you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, a couple of announcements before we get going, and let's see. Those aren't my announcements. On Friday, this Friday, we have a theater that's coming in, and they're going to do a play reading. And I think it's going to be at 6:30, and it's free. There's flyers outside for that. The play that they're doing is called Art. And I understand it's a really amazing play. So that'll be here 6:30 on Friday. On the following day, on Saturday, our wonderful Victoria. She's the lady that helped us do the dance for the talent show. I think I've got a visual here for you. There you go. Well, Victoria had an unfortunate thing happen. Her studio got flooded. And wasn't in a flood zone, and so she didn't have insurance for it. And so she's doing a fundraiser. We're helping support that fundraiser. That will be next Saturday at 6:30. If you want more information on that, see the lovely Carolyn Lang. Carolyn, stand up and let them come on up here, Carolyn. You've got to get in the light. Can you tell me something about it? Well, hang on. Let me get your microphone. Can tags.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that, but I can get ready. Okay. Victoria has a dance studio, like Ken said, and she has always supported this community. So there are quite a few of us have already said yes to going to this fundraiser at the Royal St. Augustine, like Ken said. It's 6:30 to 9, and it's $20 a person. And you will get included with that a fun lesson on how to do the swing. Would that be fun? Yes, I love that reaction. It's easy, it's simple steps, and you're going to love it because now whenever you go out and they play that right music, you're going to be able to swing. It's going to be fun. The other thing that Ken asked me to talk about, and I appreciate that, Ken, it's something that's very, very dear to Mike and my hearts. You've probably seen outside a container with tabs, soda tabs, yes. And it's very dear to us because those tabs are being donated to the Shriners Burns Hospitals. The Shriners do amazing work, and we were unfortunate to have one of our grandchildren need their support. He was burned in a house fire when he was almost 4 years old. He's now 24, about to be 25. Some of you may have met him here, bearded guy. He's had several surgeries on his hands. He's had skin grafts, and it was all free to his family. They take insurance, but if you can't afford anything after that, no worries. So Mike and I have been supporting them for 20 years. And we asked our community here to support us. I'm seeing faces and I'm looking, and I know some of you already are supporting. And don't say I don't have any of those, because you do. You know, can of beans, can of cat food. They have a lot of tabs because it's little cans, one meal. Or maybe you're out somewhere and you happen to see someone finish their soda. This is a crazy thing I do. Can I have your tab? Stick it in my purse. But I'm going to point you out if you don't mind, Diane. Diane and I are in a book club together. And every week she shows up with 1, 2, 6 tabs. And she puts them in the jar. And I'm always so touched when someone thinks that they can't do something to help out. No, you can. One simple tab makes a difference. So please save your tabs, put them in the jar. I call the gentleman, because we're fortunate, we have a Shriners right here in St. Augustine. I've contacted him, and they earmark their tab collections for transportation. And that's really important. The night Austin was burned, they were going to helicopter him to Boston. And there was a really bad storm, so they couldn't. But Shriners would have paid for that. Actually, our local fire department brought him up in an ambulance so that he could go to the Burns Hospital in Boston. So it's a little thing, but it's a huge, huge difference in the world that you make for children who have suffered from burns like Austin did. So thank you in advance. I know the jar is probably going to have to get emptied every week now for a while, right? Thank you. Thank you, Ken, for the opportunity.
You're welcome. All right, 2 more announcements. We have a sign-up sheet outside for our caring community. This is a group that really will help me tremendously because, you know, we have people who have some tragedies or difficulties in their lives. They could use a hospital visit to the nursing home. Maybe they need a casserole. And so this is the group that will be doing that. Silver Fawn is outside signing people up. Where is Silver Fawn? There she is. So talk with her. This is an important group. It will help me a lot, and it will help our membership a lot. Boy, a casserole can go a long way when you've had a loss. So be willing to do that. Finally, the Course in Miracles study group is moving from Friday to Mondays at 6:30. Is that right? 5:30. So 5:30, if you're interested in A Course in Miracles, 5:30 on Monday nights here. Well, those are all my announcements. So to get us started, Chelsea, I know you got some amazing music for us.
Well, someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. Well, I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. Well, I know, shining down like water. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Well, yesterday and days before, sun is cold and rain is hard. Well, I know it's been that way for all my time. Till forever on it goes, through the circle fast and slow. I know, and it can't stop, I wonder. I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I want to know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Well, I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? Coming down on a sunny day. Coming down on a sunny day.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Jeff. Wow, thank you, Jeff. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now we have a great honor to welcome my friend Richard Austin up to the stage. He's doing a reading and treatment for us. Come on up, Richard.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Great to be with you this morning. I mean that. I had something I wanted to share. I won't call it an announcement, but you may all be familiar with the Science of Mind magazine. And I mentioned this during the meditation this morning. But my renewal is coming up for December. And so I wanted to let you know that in the October month, Jesse Jennings is one of the writers that has something in each month. And he pointed out that October being the anniversary of our magazine, published continuously since 1927, this month's guides are the words of our founder, Ernest Holmes. And he goes on to say that he had the honor of adding a little bit because he's added to each of the daily for October. So I'm very happy to share this with you at the end of the month. You know, in case you wanted to go back and look at October again. I don't know if we have any out there. But one of the things I noticed as I was receiving my hard copy in the mail is that I used to get each month, probably a month in advance, and I'd get a chance to either use next month's for a reading today or vice versa. Well, somebody came up with a very creative idea. They're putting 2 months together. So if you look at October and just flip it over, you have, well, this is October, but if you flip it over, you had September. So obviously, the next one coming out is going to have November and December. So instead of having 12 magazines on my shelf, I now will have 6. The other thing is, it's just $37 a month. Or for those that like to save 5 cents, it's $36.95, really. And then if you want the online version, you can get that for just $4.95 more for a grand, very inexpensive total of $41.90. Per year. I'm sorry. Did I say per month? Well, you know, chemo will do those things to you, but, you know, I'm still glad to be up here. So I appreciate the help. All of the closing affirmations for October are affirmations by Ernest from this thing called You. So I found that very interesting. And I also had the pleasure of taking a course with Jesse Jennings about the, what's the name of that Ernest Holmes? Essential Ernest Holmes, 8-week course that he offers from time to time. It's online. So if you want to really get into a course that would drive you to know more about Ernest, he's an incredible instructor, and it's an incredible topic. Of course, you have classes here with Reverend Ken, and you can't top that. All right. You may learn many of the same things, but again, he wrote the book, The Essential Ernest Holmes, and so to have the author be able to be the teacher for that class really is pretty interesting. And it was an awesome class and gave me some tremendous new insights. So, readings. I'm going to go to the affirmation first, which is not that one. I am confident in my ability to meet every situation. So I'm going to try and tie this all together shortly and do it creatively. So this morning I wrote, I spoke on the topic of the positive opposite. And so, you know, we're all human, so there are times when I might say something against myself, which I won't repeat because it doesn't need to be here. But, if you had a negative thought, you can just quickly turn that around. So the example he gives here is if there's anything you dislike about your work environment, clearly state in one sentence what it is that you want. For example, my work is dull, monotonous, and I don't like my associates. Wow, it sounds like that's familiar for some people here. He goes on to say that, what is it that you really truly want in this workspace? I am steadily finding new interests in my work and pleasing qualities in those about me. So it's just taking a difference and putting a twist on it. And so those were a couple of things that he spoke without spending ongoing time on this one. Regardless of your problem, do your best to affirm its opposite. That what you want all day and evening. You may not succeed so well the first day or week, but keep it up for a whole month, and you'll see some amazing changes. And you have the power to make it change like that, but I'll speak to my humanness. It usually takes the month. All right. Onward and upward. I was going to use this one, carrying creation forward. So give me just a sec. The opening says, and it's a question I'll ask you. When you go into the garden, do you look at the weeds? Or do you see the flowers? Or do you notice what needs to be weeded? Unfortunately, I have some weeds in my garden, so I notice both the flowers and the weeds. He goes on to say, spend more time with the roses and jasmines, and that's from Rumi. We should not separate our life from living. We should not separate life from living. Spirit from matter, divine principle from universal creation. God is all in all. That is, God is and is in everything. The gardener finds the divine idea concealed in the seed. The geologist finds the imprint of the invisible forces in a rock. An evolutionist reads the history of the cosmic activities and then continues to pull out of itself the production of self-conscious life. The scientist finds an energy concealed in an atom, and the spiritual genius discloses an intuitive knowledge that can be accounted for only on the theory that we lie in the lap of the infinite intelligence. Some food for thought. I haven't finished the menu yet, so bear with me. Ken, sorry, I'm going more than my allotted minute and a half. I got mixed up when I was reading this one, and I thought it said carpenter with the eternal. And it actually is co-partner, not carpenter. Again, that chemo has some effects, but, we still take the opposite positive side of things. I had a very close friend to me here recently. He was traveling to Montana, and I wanted to try and call him while he and his wife and family were out there to catch him when he wasn't working. He's a lawyer. He's a fixer. Not like Cohen, but a different fixer. And he loves life, he loves the outdoors, and he's very good at what he does. I had texted him, and just to commute, we didn't get the phone call in. And he wrote me back and said, gosh, I feel so badly. I didn't call you. I feel like I'm not a good friend at all. And so this comes into the co-partnering with the eternal. I haven't written back, but my mind went to, you couldn't be more of a friend than if you had called or not called. Prayer, it is the truest sense, is not a petition, not a supplication, not a wail of despair. It is rather an alignment, a unifying process that takes place in the mind as it reaches into its divine self and to the power greater than human understanding. In the act of such prayerful and reverent communication with God, one senses the unity of good, the completeness of life, and at times the veil of doubt is lifted and the face of reality appears. This consciousness, what has been referred to as the secret place of the Most High, is an experience rising out of the conviction that God is all there is, besides whom there is none else. And so I tie this in because, excuse me, while they were out in Minnesota, they were fishing and they were thinking of me. He wanted to fix it. When I last talked to him, he said, I wish I could fix it, but I know I can't. And so I shared with him that the doctors will work with me on that, as well as my spiritual center and my wonderful divine connection with life and spirit and God. And so I will send this to him. And it says, I see in everyone that which I know to be true about myself. Therefore, everyone I think of is blessed in my thought. And so while they were fishing, they were thinking about me. What can they do? No more of a friend could he be by just thinking about the situation and having it go forward. And so he is a dear friend, regardless of whether he calls or not. So anyway, the polar opposite, tears and joy. We'll go on for the joyfulness now. So please sit back, relax, and know in this moment, divine mind is everywhere present. That we come here today with a divine expectation of getting a wonderful message and leaving with a joyous, proud smile and a heartiness in our heart, a healthiness in our step, and a wonderful connection with family and friends. I wore my tattered shirt today that you otherwise wouldn't wear in this setting, but you are family. And I say thank you for all of your support, your thoughts, and your prayers. Each of us knows that as we come into this space, we are guided and delivered an opportunity to connect with our spirit. It is joyful, it is wonderful, and I express my dear thanks and great thankfulness for this wonderful community, its wonderful gift that it gives to me each day that I'm here, each time that I'm here online, and for each of you and all of us, whether here in this room today or visiting from afar or have given us any thought at all. This is the power of prayer. This is the great understanding of love and joy. This is the connection to spirit to which I am grateful and each of us is grateful. And so we go forward today to hear this wonderful message from Reverend Ken, having taken way too much time for this practitioner to be with you and to speak, but to also be grateful. And so I give thanks to, to this moment, to this time, and for this opportunity to be before you. And we have this wonderful opportunity to release this treatment and so much more into the universe simply by saying, and so it is. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. That was lovely. So it's Halloween, and so I thought I would use my talk to talk about releasing fear. Releasing fear. I was raised by professional fearers. Is that a word? Warriors, yes. I was raised by people who were elderly. I was a surprise. I guess that was a nice way of putting it. And my parents were terrified of life, really. They were terrified that there was going to become another depression because they had lived through the Depression. If not the Depression, hippies were going to take over. They were horrified by hippies. They were terrified that my oldest sister she was in college at the time, was going to run off and be a hippie. It just horrified them. And the poor girl, she went to Georgia Southwestern, which was in America's Georgia, not a hotbed of hippie activity by any stretch of the imagination. She was president of her sorority. She was vice president of the elect Richard Nixon Committee in Americas. And her favorite musical group were the Carpenters. Yeah. You never heard anybody say, let's drop some acid and put Karen Carpenter on. It wasn't a part of the zeitgeist at that time. We've only just begun. I see the colors. Now, if none of that happened, the thing that also scared them was none of that happened, they were sure this was going to happen. Jesus was coming back. Jesus was coming back. And that scared them the most. And they went to a church every Sunday that just preached about how horrible it was going to be when he came back. And I remember thinking, well, he was only nice the first time he came. Why are we so worried? And it is sad to think that what should have been a comfort to them really, really terrified them, kept them up, and kept them from living life to the fullest. They didn't live life to the fullest. They were in fear. Someone said about fear, false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is, false evidence appearing real. Now, my teacher, Kennedy D. Schultz, he loved Halloween. He didn't like Christmas so much, but he liked Halloween. He said it taught kids how to confront their fears, to make fun of their fears. And he thought this was a very healthy thing to do, to make fun of your fears. I think it's also very healthy, and I think the tradition of sending kids out in the neighborhood to trick or treat, I think that is also a very healthy thing to do. It's gone away a little bit. It seems to be kind of picking back up. I hope so. Because it allows the kids to know that they have power, that they can go up to a door, ring the doorbell, that they can make a request, that typically the homeowners, ooh and ah about their costumes. The kids have had some kind of decision in, the costumes. It empowers them. It lets them know that they've got a whole community around them that is supportive and encouraging, and that they can get, support from. So I think it's an important thing to do. Now, the whole tradition of kids going up to houses around this time of the year, it actually goes back to the Middle Ages. It was celebrated on All Saints' Day, and so it started in the Middle Ages. Poor kids would go up to houses, and the bargain was, if you give us a sweet roll with the sign of the cross in it, that we will do prayers for any family members who've died in the past year. That's the whole thing of trick or treat. Now, it showed up in America in the 30s. It first showed up around the celebration of Thanksgiving. And the idea was that you would dress up as a ragamuffin. I'm not really sure what a ragamuffin is, but that was the costume. And you would go up and you would ask for treats. Around the 30s, it began to morph into Halloween. And when the baby boomers started having when the baby boomers came through, that's when it really took off. Yes. Now, here's the interesting thing. In the span of my childhood, from when I was a little kid to I became a teenager, it changed again. And because people began to be concerned that it wasn't safe to send your kids out, and particularly because the candy they got could have pins or needles in it, or razor blades in the apples. Those were the worst things. You could have a razor blade in the apple. Like any kid with a bag of candy is going to reach in and eat an apple. That has never happened, never will happen. Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thing, because researchers have gone back and researched hospital records. And what they have found out, that was largely a urban myth. That really did not happen. There were a couple of cases, but it was really never a widespread thing. So how did a false rumor create such a profound change? Because it really did. It was, my younger sisters, they ran all over the neighborhood. And my parents let them do it on their own. They just ran out. By the time I became like 10 or 11, it was a much more controlled situation. In fact, I remember in Macon, you could take your bag of candy to the hospital and they would x-ray it for you. Yeah. Why did that happen? Here's your answer. Because parents were inclined to believe it. They were open to that fear. They were open to believe that the world was a dangerous place. And of course, in the 60s, there was lots of turmoil going on. So it was an easy lie to believe. Now, the strange thing, I think, a curious thing, is it seems that we humans have a tendency to enjoy fear. We kind of enjoy it a little bit. One of the most oft-repeated suggestions in the Bible, this is the thing that Spirit tells us most, is fear not. Fear not. Every time an angel shows up to a human, that's the first thing they say. Don't be afraid. And if you think about it, it's kind of a curious thing, because why, when we're presented with the closest thing to God's love and mercy and compassion and kindness, why would it scare us? Why would it? Now, fear has caused most of our problems. In Scripture it says that Adam and Eve, they ate from the tree of knowledge, and the Christian version, it's a little bit different than the Jewish version, but the Christian version is they opened their eyes to sexuality. Oh, goodness, Yeah, and that caused, sex is a problem, but let me tell you, fear has caused way more problems. It has hindered us. It has held us back. It has been the impetus of much of the world. All the wars we've gone through, the human calamities, fear. Eleanor Roosevelt, fascinating character in history. If you want a good read on history, get something on Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, do the thing that scares you, and the death of fear is certain. Do the thing you're afraid of, and it vanishes the power it has over you. Don't do it. It increases in energy. And it will get to a point where it will drain your energy to the place you can't confront it. Deal with it, and it loses its grips and dissolves like the mist under the morning sun. But if you don't confront it, it grows and drains your energy, and it leaves you paralyzed, unable to move on it. I have a wonderful, lovely friend. She's extremely successful, world traveled. She lives in Atlanta. She's retired with a huge income. She can really do whatever she wants to do. What she likes to do is spend day after day on her computer investigating conspiracies, one after another. I happened to make the recommendation, which she did not like, that she allow some positive energy into her life. Just get something else positive coming. You don't have to stop doing that. Just bring something positive into your life. And I said, why don't you go downtown? If you've never been, Atlanta has an amazing theater. It's called the Fox Theater. And it's just an amazing place. If you're ever in Atlanta, go tour it, even without a production. But they have all these Broadway plays that they bring through. I said, go see a Broadway play. Go see it. Oh, are you crazy? There's crime in downtown Atlanta. They're stacking dead bodies on the sidewalks down there. You can't go down there. You'll be murdered as soon as they look at you. Well, Atlanta has a crime problem, but not in the places they're putting on Broadway shows. You know, they don't have it there, but she's not willing to allow it. She's fear-bound, and she's bringing more fear into her life. You want fear? Turn on the news. Turn on the internet. And who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? Who advertises on the news? It's your insurance companies, your health companies, pharmaceuticals. They want you worried about what kind of shape you're in. They got a pill to solve it or a policy to protect you. And you'll never have enough. You'll always be wanting more. So turn it off and allow something positive to come in. You don't have to be ignorant, but just make sure a deliberate positive energy is coming in your life. Mahatma Gandhi said, the enemy is fear. He says, we think it's hate, but it's fear. He says, fear masquerades as anger, prejudice, and even violence. He says, but at its core, it's fear that drives these emotions. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of change. Last week, I made a big mistake. I was in the car. I had forgot my cell phone. I normally listen to audio books, so I turned the radio on, happened to be on the AM stations, and there was a talk news program going on. And it's the guy, he's a national guy, and he's a big, successful guy. And he was ranting and raving, because he had gone to a Lowe's improvement store, big Lowe's department store, and there they had the temerity of trying to sell, I don't want to offend anybody here, trying to sell a black Santa Claus, an African-American Santa Claus. Oh my goodness. Never mind the war in Ukraine, never mind the turmoil in Israel, never mind what's going on in our political life. An African-American Santa Claus, the horror. And he kept saying is, everybody knows Santa's white. And I thought to myself, buddy, you're talking about a literary person that lives in the North Pole, who has probably labor issues with a group of elves, and flies around the world with magical reindeers. I don't think ethnicity is the problem with this story. So we need to recognize that fear is what we have to deal with, and it happens for us as well as anyone. And we can transform it, not with aggression, but with compassion and understanding. A lovely person that I listen to each week, she said if we would just spend 60 seconds a day thinking about the world in love and compassion, she said we would change it. Just 60 seconds. And we can make that change because we are that powerful, particularly when we link our thoughts and prayers with our good works. This is what we want to do. It takes more just thoughts and prayers. You got to move your feet. You got to get out in the world and make a change. This past week, we took all our old computers over to the Betty Griffith Center because they're going to wipe them off and they're going to give them to the families that leave the Betty Griffith Center. And they talked about how grateful they were that we're doing this. And we probably won't solve all of those families, but we may solve one. We may help one. And that's all we're called to do. It's God's universe. You do your part, and then you turn the rest over to Spirit. But your part is extremely powerful. Your part can change the world. And because here's what it is, it's thoughts and deeds that we can make a difference, because the fear that's out there, the turmoil that's out there, it really does not have that much power, because goodness and love and compassion has all the power of God behind it. War, turmoil, confusion, that's just empowered by human silliness. and misconceptions. That's the only power it has. When we move out in love and compassion, we've got the universe behind us, and we can make a huge difference. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he said, if we would just not give so much attention to the turmoil and the anger in the world, it would disappear. If we would just not give it extra energy. Kennedy said, my teacher, he said, we don't really have anything to fear. He says, there is no devil, and God is only love. There is no devil, and God is only love. We're all spiritual beings. We're all on this human journey, destined to return to the embrace of love. Fear is but a cosmic dance that we engage in at this dense level of creation. It's but a transient visitor, a shadow that fades with the brilliance of our true essence. It's woven into the fabric of our existence. It's been our companion since the dawn of humanity. It's finely tuned so that we could evolve. But now that we have evolved in this modern life, fear often takes a different form. It disguises itself as self-doubt, societal expectations, and the unknown mysteries of tomorrow. Our experiences with fear have created pathways in our brain that reinforce our fearful conclusions about life. We don't get the life we dream for. We don't even get the life we pray for. We get the life we think we deserve. And if we can raise above our expectation and help others achieve a greater life for themselves, we will lift ourselves up above our own expectations, and we will witness the mercy and love of God raining down on us. Dr. Jill Taylor, she wrote a wonderful book a couple of years ago, My Stroke of Insight. She had a stroke, and for a while it damaged the analytical part of her brain. And when that happened, suddenly she realized that she no longer was burdened by the fear that had troubled her all of her life. Her experience gave her a path forward, suggesting that fear is intricately linked to our conclusions we've made about life, and with conscious effort, we can reshape these assumptions, transcending fear's grip. She said, when we are being compassionate, we consider another circumstance with love rather than judgment. She said, to be compassionate is to move into the now, right now, with an open heart and consciousness, willing to be supportive. And we need this now more than ever. We're in a time with global changes that leave us all terrified. So let us recognize that fear and acknowledge it and know that we can be a catalyst for transformation. Spirit is calling on you. It's not surprising that you've been born in this time. Each one of us is needed and necessary for this transformation. There's a new heaven and a new earth coming, and we're going to bring it about. Seneca, the Stoic, he says, we suffer more from imagination than in reality. Fear often thrives in imagination. We conjure up things that are more terrifying than we can imagine. We can turn the vice president of the re-elect Richard Nixon Club into a hippie selling poppies on the street corners of San Francisco. Harry Truman said, for every 3 problems you see coming at you, 2 are going to run into the ditch before you get to you. So why worry? It's by grounding ourselves, by embracing mindfulness, that we can silence the voices of fear, finding serenity in the midst of turmoil. Mindfulness is a powerful tool to confront our fears, becoming conscious. That's the reason we're here, to become more and more consciousness. Is the entire aim of evolution, that spirit is descending into the physical realm through us to become more and more conscious. Mindfulness invites us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, to witness the ebb and flow of fear without being consumed by it. And through practice like meditation and prayer, we can cultivate an awareness that pierces through the illusion of fear, revealing the inherent peace that resides inside of us, so that we can envision a world liberated from the shackles of fear, a world where compassion and understanding reign supreme, where the divisions of our beliefs and backgrounds are celebrated, not feared. So we want to recognize the antidote to fear is not merely courage, it is love. Love is the most potent force in the universe. It dissolves fear like the sunshine dissolves the thickest cloud. Dr. King says, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. So let us be bearers of love. Let's be ambassadors of light, dispelling fear wherever we go. Let our actions, our words, and our thoughts resonate with the profound truth that love is the most powerful force in the universe, and that it can dispel fear in all its guises, so that we can confront our fears with open hearts and courageous souls, because in doing so, we're going to liberate ourselves. We're going to liberate each other. We're going to liberate the world. And we're going to march on to that beautiful and glorious day. We're all going to be able to join hands in hand. Sisterhood and brotherhood will reign over all. And we will liberate ourselves from all this confusion, this turmoil, this foolishness. And we will know we're all beloved children of God, here to experience the blessings of Spirit raining down on us. It's what we've come to do. We can do it, and now's the time. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I went to the river, but I couldn't get across. Jumped on your papa, cause I thought he was a house. I rode him over. Get a Coca-Cola, some lemon soda, soft serve ice cream, take soap and water. You got to keep it clean. Well, off she jumped and down she fell. Her mouth flew open like a mussel shell. Said, just ride her over. Get a Coca-Cola, some lemon soda, soft serve ice cream, take soap and water. You got to keep it clean. Now if you want to get the rabbit out the L-O-G, you best think like a dog, like a D-O-G. You better ride it over. Get a Coca-Cola, some lemon soda, soft serve ice cream, take soap and water. You got to keep it clean. Well, I went to the river, but I couldn't get across. Jumped on your papa, cause I thought he was a house. I rode him over. Get a Coca-Cola, some lemon soda, soft serve ice cream, take soap and water. You got to keep it clean. Well, I went to the river, but I couldn't get across. Jumped on your papa, cause I thought he was a house. I rode him over. Get a Coca-Cola, some lemon soda, soft serve ice cream, take soap and water. You got to keep it clean.
Thank you. So now we come to the time we support our center, and we support our center because this place is doing amazing, great good in the world. Now you can support us in several ways. You can support us by volunteering. You can support us by helping out and doing prayer work, seeing our center growing and thriving, and you support us in coin and monetary. However you choose to support us, know that we are grateful for it, and know that Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly for it. So if you will, take your intentions and place it over your heart and read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And if the ushers will step down, Chelsea.
If you miss the train I'm on, you will know that I am gone. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 500 miles. Lord, I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home, away from home, away from home, away from home, away from home. Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home. Not a shirt on my back, not a penny to my name. Lord, I can't go back home this away, this away, this away, this away, this away. Lord, I can't go back home this away. If you miss the train I'm on, you will know that I am gone. You can hear the whistle blow 500 miles. 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 100 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 500 miles.
And thank you, Barb. You should have danced your way up. Barb was one of the dancers on Friday. She was excellent. So we thank you. We bless this offering. We know it's going to help us get the word out. We know it's going to help us continue to be a beacon of light and love, to support those that need support, to raise those up who need to be lifted up. Your support is allowing us to keep this beacon of hope and love alight, glowing bright. So we thank you, we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and perfect work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. So let's close our service with affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person. Take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is but one God and one mind and one power. And that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. That power called me by name from stardust so I could walk the soil of St. Augustine. And here today in this wonderful place, surrounded by all these wonderful loving souls, I now choose to see myself as God sees me. Not as weak, not as wounded, not as afraid, but courageous, moving out into the world boldly, dynamically, making a difference, helping those I can, inspiring, encouraging, lifting up, knowing a better idea for myself, for all the world, and seeing the world, envisioning the world as a new day, a new possibility, where the arms of war have been laid aside, where turmoil and confusion are a thing of yesterday, where humanity can join together in sisterhood and brotherhood and know a better knowing for themselves that we are all children of God. We are here so that Spirit can rain down blessings upon us. We are here so we can be awed with how much God loves and supports us. This is my truth. Every cell in my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my dear friends, I'm going to leave you with one last idea. That is your life. Your life, it's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now, let us go be the miracle Spirit is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.
Why, I lived a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day. But I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Big wheels keep on turning, Proud Mary keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. You know, I cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis. I pumped a lot of paint down in New Orleans. But I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on a riverboat queen. Big wheels keep on turning, Proud Mary keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Thank you, guys. Thank you.